Yes, Karasan.
Good evening, one and all. I am Keshav Zadav here. It gives immense pleasure to me introduce and welcome today's resource person, Dr. Anand Pandit sir, the head department of geography, New Arts, Commerce and Science College at Ahmednagar. Sir having total 14-year teaching experience at UG level and PG level. Sir has taught population and settlement geography and also several research work on it. Also, Sir has to command on GIS and remote sensing. Sir had published about 7 papers. GIS and remote sensing course completed in NRSC at Hyderabad and Indian remote sensing IRS at Dehradun. Sir having a versatile personality, so I welcome you, sir. Without further ado, I kindly request you, sir, please deliver your valuable knowledge in this session. Please continue, sir.
Okay, thank you, Zadav sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I would like thank you to Sir Parshuram Bhau College, Autonomous Pune, to give me an opportunity to present my small approach in the view of research. Okay, I'm not delivering some lectures or the concept, but might try to discuss about the some concept related by the research or related for the research. And after all, I am present my small approach related by my research or some discuss about the some points which is related in the theme. So according to my theme, fundamentals of research design and the field work. Basically, I have not prepared by the PPT because I have prepared or show or to discuss my approach with the help of PPT. But the fundamentals research design and the field work I have prepared or to write one or two topic in the research methodology book. So that's why I show the or the present in the view of research. You know about very well, actually, you are all of the research students, or you know about the very well the today's pandemic situation, and you have going to about the work, the online maximum the online work. First of all, I have used about the some books. Firstly, I have discussed or to presenting about the this approach. But at the time of this approach, how to prepare in these things. Now my research work is done for the some different type of sources. But the important source I have read about the one important book. This book is a very useful at the time of initial period in the research. My registration and declaration of the PhD whole way I am using about the book for scientific thesis writing and paper presentation. And Gurumani is the very nice book for the writing about the research paper or the scientific way in the research or the PhD or the MPhil or the some of the writing about the uh, research project. Okay. Now you know about the very well what is meant by the research, or the some different aspect to the fundamental concept regarding about the concepts. So the research is an important thing, or the systematic investigation to increasing about our knowledge. Any one theme you criticize, or you may the innovative ideas are to include about the some different data to the systematic way. So this is the systematic way to preparing about the some different things. Now, research is one of the important investigation, or to discover your knowledge, and this knowledge to presenting a systematic method or the way. So it is to representing about the investigation of the hypothetical aspect, and to give your objectives in our study area. It is a that is a one of important word, that is or the sentence, the sky is no limit. In the same way, the research is no limit, but your objectives, and to prove your objectives with the help of hypothesis, or the testing of hypothesis. Now, this will be taking about the research, or the theoretical, or the research, or the especially to the theoretical and the applied, which is to preparing about the human beings or the society. Now you know about the very well, the theoretical research can be provide about the some improvement in the knowledge, and it gives by the investigation in the different relationship, especially for the natural and the cultural aspect. Now my view about the aspect to related about the different conceptual and the natural aspect. So it make the social planning, or to improve the standard of society, or to improve the standard of different amenities. So you choose about the some applied research, and this applied research shows by the cause and effect relationship in the society, and it helps the ideology, or it helps to improvement about the social aspect to the study area. So our role is very important in the time of investigation or the research. So your improvement, or to suggested about the various kind of the aspect, it can be used about the this technique. So the applied research is very important, or to innovative by the develop about the new aspect or the new ideas, especially for the applied sciences. So this is the improvement in the various field, or the different aspect to preparing about the scientific view, and this scientific view is developing, or to discovering innovative about the new ideas or the elements. Those can be useful in the in our study area, or the different aspect, or the human health. So the are the basic needs. So some of the different concept, or the different amenities, especially for the intellectual of the different aspect to the society. Now the research is carried out about the some different steps, or the various steps, including about the my knowledge, or the my aspect to conducting about the different sequences, or to many scholars or the researchers have been used about these steps, or to preparing about these steps. Now you know about the very well, actually you have the study about the PhD. Now you know about the very well which is the steps, or to how to design your thesis. Okay, but the thesis is writing about the scientific way. Scientific way is the very important. Okay, now that is to preparing about the formulation. Suppose your research design to choose about the selection of the topic is a first step, or to problem. You can choose about the one of the problem to relate it about the study area or in our aspect. So this is the way or to first step to formulation of the problem in our research. So the some introduction to related about the research, the aims and objective to related about the topic is very important step by the aims and objective, because all theses are in our research work is depend on your objective. In another word, objective or aims and objective are the important pillar in our research, because whole research is depend in our objectives, which objectives you can prove for your aspect. Now the review of literature is a previous research which is to direction of the our problem or the research. So different books, the article or the research journals or the papers. After all, the hypothesis formation is to designing, and the formulation of the hypothesis to representing in the way of research design. Hypothesis is a important part of the our research. Now the collection of data. Data is nothing but for the information which is related in our topic or in our study area. So the collection of data is very important. In my view or my uh, approach, the research is a way to collection of data. After all, to collection of this data, you can organize about this data in a systematic way. At the time of organization from this data, to prepare or to formulate about the some methods or the methodology, especially for the quantitative approach or the scientific approach. Now you know about the very well what is the primary data and the secondary data. So the data collection is the first important way to going on the research. So after all, you can collect from this data, you can summarize or to prepare about the some tables in this data. In my aspect or my view, research is going on only three steps, only three. First of all, you collect about this data. In the base of this data, you prepare your tables. You prepare your statistical data. Is the first, is the A. The B is at the way of this data, you creating by your graphs or figures, and after all, you interpret this table and graphs in the C or the third way. So this is a simple way of the research, the table, graphs, and interpretation. Graphs are figure or the maps or diagrams, okay, in this way. So the A, B, C, finally your research has been done about the simple things. So the methodology, in this way you use about the methodology for the analysis, especially for the scientific technique or the statistical formulation, especially use about the GIS methodology or the cartographic view, geographical view or the geographical knowledge. After all, to analysis of this data, so in the various ways to analysis by this data of the, especially for tabulation of data. First of all, you can collect of this data. My small suggestions, all of the research students, any data you have collect to create about the Excel sheet, because this is a very important things about the Excel sheet, because after all you can use creating about the or to making about the maps in the various softwares. At that time this data is very important to easily making of the maps in the Excel sheet. So that's why any type of this data you prepare or to create about the Excel sheet. So this is a easy going to your cartographic techniques or to making a map. So various aspect or the different tools use about the with the help of different type of softwares, and after all to interpret about these maps or the graphs or figures. So to different aspect to view, and finally you conclusion or to suggestions or to recommendations by the different aspect in the view of references and the bibliography. So these are the steps which we can going on all of the research or to how to design your framework, research paper or the thesis writing. So these three or these 9 points, I have summarized about these 9 points, the A, B, C, the table, the graph, and the interpretation. So in this way, to preparing to find out finalized is very easy to your research work. So the selection of problem, research problem, you choose about the problem in our study area, especially to selection of the research or the research topic or the problem is very important. So I think you have studied about the more books in research methodology because you have going to in the way of research. So it is a very important job for the researchers because the problem is choose or it is depend on the nature of research, and it is to conducted by the some different requirements or the society requirements or the academician interest to going on the research problem, and it is very carefully choose or to selected about the research problem because the various steps is depend upon the using by this research or the study area or the problem. So the research problem is various things which we can be how to choose about the research problem. I think your topic is actually your topic is right on going on this way, but I have little bit trying to aspect how to formulate or to choose about the research problem. This is the theory of the research interest, because your interest is very important to choose about the topic or the research problem. So the various type of the daily problems to you facing about the different problems in the environmental issues. So my area of the specialization or do work about this area in the population or the settlement. So the increasing by the population is the daily problem, basic problem in the development in our India. So the some of the various problems in the recent days. So, for example, so technological changes and exploring the idea, the discuss with the different or to your supervisors or your guide is very important. Okay, because you and your guide is a way about this research design or to prepare about this research aspect. So that's why the discussion with your guide or to correlation with these two aspects to formulate or to specific interest or to scientifically going on in the step by step in the research way. So the research is to investigation by the different view and your aspect. So the how to choose about the actual problem, or to your experience or to expertization about this aspect, to overcoming about this some aspect. So the research problem is very important way or the step to first step, because this is the initial or to going on our different steps in the research. Now, after all, you choose about the your research topic or to formulate about this research. Now, it is to presenting about the different view or the different scholars are to understanding in the source of identification in the views. So the research problem is to concern with the various aspect in the view of different points. Actually, we have discussed about the 5 points to representing about the how to formulate about this problem, and your can be a view about the identifying your study area. So the aims and objective to appropriate to views in this aspect. So the purpose of research is to discover your answer to questions through the applications of the scientific procedure. So the main aim to research to find out about the different view or the truth which is to hidden, which has not been discovered in the view aspect. So which objective you have select, and this objective you prove this objective in our thesis or your paper, research paper. So we think by the research objective and to number of different views can be identifying about the objective, how to formulate or to different aspects. So the familiarity which is to achieve by the new insight or the new light in our research to properly view or to understanding about the situational aspect or to determining about the frequently, and it should be associated with the different study area points. So you know about the very well your study area and related problems or related aspect or related elements. So these related problems you formulate your objectives. Objectives is nothing but to the relationship for your research problem and the research content, okay, or your topic or your units, okay. Now the survey of literature is another one of the important part to prepare about the research writing. Now the literature means to the available knowledge of a particular area of investigation in the review, and this review you can organize about the scientific way. In my approach or my study, the review of literature, some of the I have read about some books or the thesis. Some thesis is writing about the research survey of literature in the way of the uh, scientific aspect. So in the way of, for example, the scientific approach, the one number approach, two number approach, three number approach, or the one by one, the authors, the chronology, or to scientific way for the research, the alphabetically researchers have been introduced about this topic, or the one by one, that is to, for example, the 1901, 19010, 19021, or the 2001, 2002, 2003. These are the way to formulate about the survey of literature in the various ways to writing about the survey of literature. So because but it is a very important step of the survey of literature, in the survey of literature, you read various journals, various type of the books, those who are related in our research problem or your title in the thesis or research paper. In that way, in recent days, most of the literature is available in online. I think the Shodhganga or InflibNet, or you can write about your topic in the Google, and you way of, or you can see about the some type of the literature to search about your topic in online mode. But the different modes of the publication in the forms to relevant by the public by the different type of the materials. So in the way of aspect to providing by the basic knowledge and information of the researchers. So it will be provided by thinking about the some different research. So it's a basic need or compulsory need by the survey of literature, because you read the survey of literature, your mind is the way of research how to how to build in our research or to various scientific approach to related in our research way or in our study area, or previously how to done by this work in this, or which scientific methods is used about this, is which chronological way of the qualitative and the quantitative analysis, or which indicates by the direction by the research. So the why we study about the survey of literature, because this is a way or the right way or direction in our work for the study area or the researchers. And some researchers become up to date by the information about these different topics or the research. Now it will be help about the some particular area or the research or formulate in this hypothetical aspect to the study area, and this view in the scientific aspect in the view of study area to investigation about the some aspect. So the main objective about the survey or to review of literature are different views. So it should be provides about the theories, ideas, or to explanation on the research topic. Now it also provide some sources by the formulating about the research hypothesis in the basis of available studies. Those studies have been previously or the past aspect to literature, and you can comparative analysis by the discussion or the ideas or the methods or the interpretation related in our topic or our study area. So it contribute about the some different knowledge which is to weigh or to formulating in the our study area or your research topic. Now the review of literature is gives to insight the regarding by the strong points of the study, and as well as the limitations of the previous studies, and makes to enable to improve the investigation of researchers. It means your mind is set up for the how to weigh about the research or to direction in the proper direction with the help of survey of literature. So that's why we preparing about this some aspect. So the source of survey of literature, you know about the very well, which is the sources of the survey of literature. So the various type of the books or the text material, the periodicals, particularly by the research periodicals, the various abstract, encyclopedia, the handbook, yearbook or the guides, the specialized dictionaries, dissertation or the thesis, the newspapers or the government, some government publications, the educational research. Now, this is the significant way to preparing about the research formation, or to how to work or to frame our research. And at that time, your mind is set up to preparing or how to going on this way or this road. So it is a capacity to understand about the status in the research problem, and to weigh or to view about the study area. And it gives by the explanation of the research properly understanding which is the method is used, or which is the method is applicable in our study area or in our objectives. So it provides a scientific information or the scientific way which is to required by the interpretation. So the different type of the next step, the hypothesis. Hypothesis is nothing but to the formulation of your research process after review of literature. Okay, so the hypothesis is the way to the or to tentative solution of a problem which is selected by your research. So hypothesis is to composition in the various variables. You know about the variable different type of the variables to study about the geographical data. So it is to verify about the different statements or to formulate about the different views. Especially, suppose for example you have studied about the agricultural aspect in the study. So at the time of agricultural study, you formulate by the irrigation is important by the agricultural development. So your hypothesis is important way or important sign related by the agriculture in the irrigation. Or the type of soils is another example for the agricultural aspect in the hypothetical view in the agricultural study or agricultural aspect or the irrigation pattern. So hypothesis is a way to declarative statement which is to related your topic selected and specifically to accepted by the formation. Okay, so this hypothesis can be conceptual in the way of different view or the expression about the idea, different ideas in your concept or your study area or your problem. So the hypothesis is generally different view or to verification of the past fact or the information in your study area. Now the source of data collection, you know about the very well, which is the source of data collection, the primary data and the secondary data. A different way about this collection of this data. Actually, primary data, you can collect about this data in the field work, and the secondary data, those data have been already published in the various ways online or the published in the different type of the books. You collect of this data to preparing your study area, because the data is very important in our research problems, to find out the research problems with the help of improve or the to solving your objectives or your observations. So the observation can be used about the requirement by the some of the data. So those data have been actually collect in the actual field work or with the help of questionnaire, or in recent technology you can collect about the different data with the help of GPS to actual field work, to use about GPS, or to formation to different question and the process regarding by the problems, or to view your research to preparing about the questionnaires, some type of these questions you can get the answer to actual field or to researchers or to formation about the different study region. Now the secondary data is already published. I think the population and settlement, the population data is already published in the Census Department, Government of India. I think the 2011, the already online available by the census data, or 2011 or 2001 data. So, our different NGOs is presenting from this data to requirement about these some database. So the research method, after all, is very important steps to research methods. Now the research method is applications to become by the important of the data analysis. So it is to applicable to different views or the different formulations. Suppose, for example, your collection of this data to use about the different models or the statistical techniques. So this will be cartographical techniques which is to suitable, or in recent days in geographical research we are use in the remote sensing and GIS tools, or remote sensing and GIS data. So you can formalize about this method or to methodological view in aspect by the formulation. So this is a methodology in research finding is very important, significant to steps. Otherwise, the research study become the only descriptive which does not provide by the objectives or and aims and objective or the hypothesis in study area. So proper or appropriate methodology we use in our study aspect. After all, to analyze about this data, to representing by this way to the analysis formulation. So the analysis to interpretation of this study or the data result with the help of different type of the research techniques. So these techniques is to providing or to prove some objectives and the hypothesis which is to fulfillment of your study area, or to verification about this data in the aspect to formulation to collecting of this data or in our study work. And this can be reflected to your suggestions, and the last, I think last topic, the conclusion or the suggestions to analyzing of this data or to information. So the first of all, actually we have discussed, I have discussed about the three steps: the table, graphs, and interpretation. These three way to representing about the analysis, which is to tabulating in our requirement by this data or to plan about this data. So it should be analyzed to prepare about the basic tables or the graphs or the diagrams or the maps, and it depends on the primarily or different the secondary data or to actual collection of this information, which is to essentially by your study area, or which is the important aspect or the important steps to analysis for your formulation in our research. Now in this way, to the different aspect to preparing about the generalization or to processing about this view or the scientific view about this data, or the suitable we use about the suitable methods which is to use by the different formulation of the or the to mention your methodology, or to you have previously study in the different research by the review of research. So the analysis or interpretation is very important, because your conclusion or to suggestions to related for your problem, how to solving by this problem or to actual study area. So the conclusion is very important chapter. I think my observation are the some reading of the some books. Finally, you have done for your viva in the PhD or the research paper, at that time the audience or the some scholars have been concentrated only your objectives, hypothesis, and the conclusion or suggestions or recommendations, because this is the formulating or to spread your ideas, your conclusion and suggestions, how to prove your research or research report or your research paper. So it will be required about the some result and discussions to make by the more meaningful and to comparison or to correlation is a very important way or the very important aspect to formulate your result or to evidences. So this will be taking about the conclusion or to accurately study about some different aspect or to preparing by this way or some different aspect. So it is to generally some of the researchers have been different type of the limitations to the study area and the finding about the result. So you mention your research limitations to your work or the different fulfillment of these objectives to support of the hypothesis and formulation about the research or the research report. Now, the finally you can mention the references and bibliography. Now, the references and bibliography, it includes about the sources that have been directly cited for your paper. And bibliographies is a one of the other aspect or the other view. It should be content of all sources that have been used to your research work. So the references is the list of sources that has been referred in the research work. But the bibliography is about to listing out of all materials which has been consulted during the research work, is nothing but for the citations, okay, that have been used in the your research work or your thesis. Okay, so it will be representing or to while writing of an assignment or your research article or your book. So it look for the different sources to generate an idea with the help of your data or with the help of your information. So student is usually to use to references of this bibliography and the references to the various kind of the aspect to contains only sources that have been cited in the text to your thesis or your research paper. And the bibliography generally is a list of that sources you use or to generate an idea about the your problem, research problem, or your assignment. So it will be representing about this data or to formulate by this way or to kind of the sources which should be selected by the different ways. So the different way, which type of the ways you write for your sources in the different the surname or the author surname or only author name or the published year of this book or the title of this book, the publisher name, the year, the place of publication, the page number. So these are the information which is to mention from your references. So in my view, or to understand in understanding by different aspect in the view, now the bibliography is to give about the different type of the references. So the name year, or it is to the Harvard system, the citation order, or the section sequence system, or the alphabet number system. Actually, at, at the time of you preparing your research work, so the Microsoft Word having organized or to uh, creating your references with the help of references tool. So it is a very simple way, or the simple thing which we can be representing about the research work. Now the second important side for our geographical view in the research, the field work, because nothing completed in our geographical study in the field visit or the collecting of the field data. In my view, the population and settlement data have been collecting, or some of the secondary data have been collecting the actual method of the first method of the survey, different type of the survey, the GPS survey, or the totality survey, or the questionnaire survey. So the field of the sampling questionnaires to study of the area. So there are various tools of the research can be used to collecting of this data, or to information to related about the field study. So this tool, it means which tool? That is the field work. Field work is is nothing but for the important side which is to develop by the researchers or the research student and his guide, because this is the free hand which is to collecting by the information to related to your objectives or your formulation of this data, which is to related in the sampling with the help of questionnaires. So this tool is very important to collecting the data and efficiently to calculating by the quantitative and the qualitative descriptions or the views or to elements in our study area. So these are the way or useful tool to collecting of the actual data. So the questionnaires is a different type of the views to preparing of the aspect. One of the important, it is a very easy source how to write or to preparing about the questionnaires. You can you have already, I think, known about the very well, or you can already visit the ICSSR website. Is a way or to scientific aspect to you have uh, visit to the ICSSR website. In this website, how to formulate about the questionnaires is a scientific way to representing about this, or how to collecting about the fieldwork data to aspect in the view of fieldwork. So the questionnaires which is to providing, or is the in my view, the questionnaires is a mirror to formulating about your study area or your collecting of the secondary data, and you can comparative analysis about the secondary data and the primary data, or the collecting of the fieldwork data. So which is to respondent, to the respondent feels in the himself or your data are to comparatively aspect by the questioners, and researchers can be provide some of the collection to individually to requirement which requirement of this data. Each and every aspect or each and every field is not used for your research work, but similarization of these aspects to questioners to representing about this data. So that's why it is designed to such a way to the researchers can be respondent may be provided by the factual information to regarding by the various subject matter of the researchers. So it will be view or the sources about the different aspect. So there are many type of the questioners, but also some more important way or to formulation of the view of this aspect by the questioners of fact and the questioners of opinion and attitude of the respondent. Some of these aspects to prepare by the questioners and to ask the question your respondent should be view or to clarify about this data. In my view, actually various types of the or some problems have been facing about the actual you can fill out the questionnaires in the field work. So the experience is very well about the different aspect, but your aim is important because you can collecting about this data with the help of your questions you can get the answers to the different views or to interviews. So the interview method is another tool of research for collecting the data in from the field work. So it is used to the research where it is necessary to essential by the researchers or in the view of different dialogues in the two person or different several person in the aspect or to particular issues. Okay. So it in fact to representing which is to ask by the some information to the respondent, and it helps to know the actual fact in the people to the known about this study area, some aspect to the various views in the area. In my experience, some one example I have share by you. Actually, we have studied about this some village survey, and this toposit is showing about the floodplain area in the study area or the village survey area or the site area actual. But actual, I have our students actual visit in this village. At that time, there is no scene about the floodplain area. So at the time, we have discussed some villagers in that village. So the villagers have been collect by this information, and they says this is already floodplain area, but the some several persons or the particular issues they should be going on in the actual work. So this type of this experience you know about the different aspects. So at the time of field work or the interviews to help to know about the actual fact in the study area and to the different views to containing about the it is also various tools to support to know about the views or the particular topic to solving about the problems. And now it should be views can be conducted on the different basis. Actually you have representing about the your formulation by the different aspect. So measurement and field mapping is a tool which is to representing about the field work collecting of this field work. So it gives about the value or the level of qualitative and the quantitative characteristics or the attributes for a particular unit. So at the time of use, to defining about the different of the process, you can getting about the different materials, especially for the data or the information, and this information can be described in the different types, or you weigh your methodological aspect or the methodological view. So this will be taking about the different consisting about the identifying by the such way, or to related about the some variables, or to representing that values. So this will be going on to give us about the systematic way or systematic aspect to the reliable work which can be done to the collecting of this information. So it is depend on the your side how much questionnaire can be filled in your study area. That is 5% or the 10%. Okay, it is depend on your size of study area, or it is depend on your work or the objectives or to collect by this information, or actually to related by your problem or your study work. Now it will be formulating by this aspect. So these some fundamental aspect or the fundamental initial stages. So this is very simple but very important stages to going on the research way, or the research traveling by the research, in my view. So some of the basic concept, you know about the basic concept in the geography. So you formulate about the any one problem or to discover by the FIBA level and the post graduation level. Some of the concept your clear idea for the FIBA level, so you cannot problem in the post graduation level to formulating or to understanding your knowledge. So that's why the basic knowledge or the basic concept to formulating about the aspect, in this view, to identifying about formulating in our research or some different aspect to preparing by this view. Now I have presenting my small approach to represent by the database or to aspect actually in my study area, some one view or to sharing about the some research aspect, how to formalize after all these different type of the concept. I think you have already done or to study from this research work. So a small approach to the presenting by the my small view in the process, how to organize from this data or to aspect by the some elements to organization about this aspect. So the introduction, one of the find out of the problem, for example, the applications of geospatial technology in the view of the social amenities for the rural development. So the first of all, the introduction for your study area, why you choose about this topic, or why we study about this aspect, or to representing about the investigation. So you introduce about your topic. Secondly, what is the significant or significance of your work? Why we important your study is the development aspect of formulating your study area, or how to correlate by this aspect to the work your work can be done about the different things, or especially working about the providing such type of this aspect in the essential knowledge, or to uh, attribute to different things or to contributing your data in the actual field work or the rural development, okay, your problem. Okay, so that's why it is to identifying or to significantly work for your study area. So you can interpret or to formulate your concept, what is meant by the geospatial technology, or what is meant by the social amenities, to formulating about the or how to important for your sustainable development. So it includes about the population structure, the literacy, the social amenities, or the type of workers. So these are the including by the elements to providing such type of this information to collecting of this data, which is to primary as well as the secondary data. Okay, so the various activities related by the actual study area or the actual study work. So some important concept you describe, which is to formulate for your study area, or which theory is applicable or to contributing your research or the social development to the different aspect to formulating by the research. The social amenities is a some different information that is to representing about the, you know about the very well which is the social amenities, and this data is actually representing in the census. Okay, so now this is to representing about the social amenities because the you use about the geospatial technology to the rural development. It is a very small approach to representing about the view with the help of different type of the social amenities to the various aspect or the kind of the sources. Now these are the amenities to representing about the aspect. So your study area you can represent or to presenting your silent features for your study area. Suppose for example my study area is choose for the Srigonda Tehsil in Ahmednagar district. So formulating about this aspect to the actual geographical location or the absolute and relative locations for your study area. Now your map have been prepared by the different views. At the time of use by this formulation, you have going on actual field work, and you you are known about the use about the cartographical technique, the GIS technique, or some softwares. So some little bit idea I have just suggested you. You know about the very well, but I have suggested by you. The Department of Science and Technology, the Government of India, DST website is formulating or to preparing about the knowledge by the QGIS. DSTच्या वेबसाईटवरती QGIS सॉफ्टवेअर हे कसं चालवायचं ह्याचे ट्युटोरियल दिलेले आहेत. तुमच्यापैकी बऱ्याचशा जणांनी ते पाहिले असतील किंवा तुम्हाला माहिती असेल, पण तरी पण मी तुम्हाला मुद्दामून सांगतोय. आणि त्यावरून तुम्ही खूप चांगल्या पद्धतीने हे शिकू शकता. म्हणजे मी तर असं म्हणेल की एका आठवड्यामध्ये तुम्ही तुमच्या स्टडी एरियाचा मॅप तुम्ही स्वतः तयार करताल असं मला तरी वाटतं. जर तुम्ही डीएसटीची वेबसाईट बघितली तर त्यावरती त्यांनी आपल्याला प्रॅक्टिससाठी डेटा सुद्धा दिलेला आहे. मला वाटतं तुम्ही तो बघितला असेल आणि तुम्ही खूप चांगल्या पद्धतीने त्या ठिकाणी हे शिकू शकता किंवा तुम्ही ते करू शकता. त्यांनी डेटा कलेक्शनचे सोर्स सुद्धा दिलेले आहेत. सेफ फाईल तुम्ही कुठून तुमच्या स्टडी एरियाची घेऊ शकता, टोपोसिट तुम्ही कशा पद्धतीने डाउनलोड करू शकता, हे तर सगळ्या वेबसाईट आणि त्या ठिकाणी त्याचे स्टेप्स ह्या सर्व त्या ठिकाणी दिलेले आहेत. तुमचा लोकेशन मॅप तुम्ही कशा पद्धतीने तयार करू शकता याचे सुद्धा स्टेप्स किंवा त्या ठिकाणी तिथे डेटा हा तुम्हाला डीएसटीच्या वेबसाईटवरती अवेलेबल करून दिलेला आहे. आणि गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडियाने तो यासाठी अवेलेबल करून दिलेला आहे की तो तुम्ही सेल्फ स्टडी करून शिकावा. तिथे प्रोसिजर, त्यानंतर ट्युटोरियल्स दिलेले आहेत तुम्हाला प्रॅक्टिससाठी. आणि त्या ट्युटोरियल्समध्ये तुम्ही स्टेप बाय स्टेप मॅप कशा पद्धतीने तयार करू शकता हे सुद्धा तुम्हाला डीएसटीने तयार करून दिलेलं आहे, गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडियाने, सायन्स अँड टेक्नॉलॉजी डिपार्टमेंटने. QGIS तुम्ही तिथून ते सॉफ्टवेअरचा म्हणजे सर्व तिथे लिंक दिलेले आहेत. मला वाटतं तुमच्यापैकी काही त्यांना माहित असेल, आणि माहित नसेल तर तुम्ही नक्की तिथे व्हिजिट करा आणि तुम्ही तुमचे मॅप हे सहज सहज तयार करू शकता. ओके, सो वी हॅव प्रिपेअरिंग अबाउट दी लोकेशन मॅप with the help of different sources to representing. हे तयार करण्याच्या अनेक पद्धती आहेत. मी एक साधी आणि सिंपल पद्धत ही त्या ठिकाणी वापरलेली आहे. यापेक्षाही चांगल्या पद्धती तुम्हाला माहित असतील किंवा तुम्हाला अवगत असतील. तसं रिसर्चमध्ये म्हणजे तुमच्यापेक्षा काही जणांपेक्षा सुद्धा मला असं वाटतं की मी अजून म्हणजे बऱ्यापैकी मला अजून गोष्टी शिकायच्या आहेत, तरी पण मी तुम्हाला काही गोष्टी सांगण्याचा प्रयत्न हा इथं या ठिकाणी केलेला आहे. सो माय ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह वी शुड बी प्रेझेंटिंग अबाउट दिस वर्क टू एक्झामाइन and progress the social amenities in our study area and to know the geographical situation. Now the geographical situation is known because you have studied about the actual representing, but you can examine about the social amenities representing about this data. So data sources is the way of different things. मगाशी आपण ज्या पद्धतीने सर्व गोष्टी शिकल्या किंवा बघितल्या त्या पद्धतीनेच आपण एक छोटासा अप्रोच स्टडी एरिया मधला हा त्या ठिकाणी बघत आहोत किंवा त्या दृष्टिकोनातून डिस्कशन हे त्या ठिकाणी करत आहोत. नाउ द व्हेरियस टाइप ऑफ द सोर्सेस ऑफ दिस डेटा टू रिप्रेझेंटिंग अबाउट द मॅप्स टू द सोर्स ऑफ डिफरंट अस्पेक्ट. आज याच्यापेक्षा चांगले सॉफ्टवेअर तुम्हाला मला वाटतं येत असतील, मग ते ArcGIS सारखे असतील किंवा एरडास इमॅजिन सारखे असतील. So this is a basic software I have used about this technical part. आणि कुठेही क्लास लावण्याची किंवा कुठे तुम्हाला जाण्याची शिकण्याची गरज नाहीये. मी तुम्हाला सांगितलेली जी वेबसाईट जर तुम्ही भेट दिली, व्हिजिट दिली आणि तिथे जर तुम्ही गेलात तर तुम्हाला कोणालाही शिकण्या म्हणजे GIS शिकण्यासाठी तुम्हाला कुठेही क्लास लावण्याचा किंवा कुठेही तुम्हाला जाण्याची गरज नाही. तुम्ही तुमच्या घरीच शिकू शकता. DSTच्या वेबसाईटवरती जाऊन जर तुम्ही आता सांगितलेले ट्युटोरियल जर तुम्ही सॉल्व्ह केले तर तुम्हाला तुमचा हा सोर्स क्रिएट करून तुम्ही तुमचे मॅप हे त्या ठिकाणी तयार करू शकता. आणि डेटा हा ऍक्च्युली आज मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये उपलब्ध असतील आपल्याला माहिती आहे. सेन्ससच्या वेबसाईटवरती पण बराचसा डेटा हा आहे. बरेचसे टोपोसिट हे ऑनलाईन सुद्धा डाउनलोड होत आहेत किंवा DSA ची जी वेबसाईट आहे, DSA एज अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्टॅटिस्टिकल ॲबस्ट्रॅक्ट, महाराष्ट्राचा आणि डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाईज सुद्धा तो DSA हा अवेलेबल आहे. सो these are data sources. I have used about this small approach to representing by the data sources. So the methodology is way मगाशी आपण ज्या पद्धतीने डिस्कशन केलं तसं एक छोटीशी मेथोडॉलॉजी इथं प्रेझेंट करण्याचा प्रयत्न हा त्या ठिकाणी केलेला आहे. डेटा कलेक्शन पासून the suggestions and to development about the planning to purposes about the different data sets. Now the way about this different aspect to the how to weigh your final output, the first step, second steps, third steps, and finally you can get your result or to discussion to representing by your study area, to solving about the different aspect. Now it will be representing about the way to the methodology or to going on your research. So this is a mosaicing view of the toposit. Your study area have been prepared by the topographical aspect or the topographical view, and this topographical view is easily seen or very easy understanding with the help of toposit. Okay, you know about the very well there is a different type the toposit or which type toposits are used or essentially understanding about this study area. So each and every part to cover or to understanding in the topographical view to the study area. Now, the physiographic profile with the use of different aspect, the elevation data have used about this map representing, you know about the, you've seen about the northeast part is a hilly area, and the south or the southwest part is the plain area, because the God and the Bhima river is flowing on
Slide not changing.
this area.
सर स्लाइड चेंज होत नाही तुमची.
सॉरी, अरे बापरे, मी तर खूप लांब गेलोय. आता दिसतंय?
हो होती सर, दिसते सर.
अगोदरच्या स्लाइड दाखवतो मी, एकच मिनिट तुम्हाला, लगेच फास्ट पुढे जातो, कारण तुम्ही, मला वाटलं दिसतंय तुम्हाला, सॉरी हा. ठीक आहे, मला मगाशी मी जे सांगितलं डीएसटीच्या वेबसाईटवर तुम्ही ते करू शकता फाइंड आउट.
ते कळालं सर आम्हाला, फक्त स्लाइडच दिसले ना पहिल्यापासून.
सॉरी
एकच स्लाइड होती.
डेटा सोर्सेस संदर्भामध्ये मी बोलत होतो तुमच्याशी. त्यानंतर मेथोडॉलॉजी, मी जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह ठरवून घेतलं आणि जो प्रॉब्लेम ठरवून घेतला रिसर्चचा, त्या दृष्टिकोनातून मेथोडॉलॉजी ही कशी तयार केली, तर मग त्यानुसार मग 1 बाय 1 पॉइंट घेऊन मेथोडॉलॉजी नुसार आपण पहिल्या स्टेप्स पासून तर फायनल आउटपुट पर्यंत कशा पद्धतीने पोहोचू शकतो, त्या दृष्टिकोनातून हा फ्लो मॅप हा आपण त्या ठिकाणी तयार केला. बऱ्याचशा, मला वाटतं तुमच्यापैकी काही जणांना जर सॉफ्टवेअरची माहिती असेल तर असे अनेक सॉफ्टवेअर आता आहेत की जे मेथोडॉलॉजी सुद्धा आपल्याला क्रिएट करून देतात. तुम्ही डेटा त्याच्यामध्ये टाकल्यानंतर मला वाटतं ArcGIS मध्ये ह्याच्या अशा प्रकारचा फ्लो मॅप हा त्या ठिकाणी जनरेट होतो. आणि अजूनही असे काही सॉफ्टवेअर आहेत की ज्यामध्ये फ्लो मॅप हा त्या ठिकाणी क्रिएट हा त्या ठिकाणी होतो. त्यानंतर मी तुम्हाला हा मॅप दाखवला होता की जो मोझायकिंग व्ह्यू मध्ये तयार केला होता टोपोसिट वरून, की ऍक्च्युअल स्टडी एरियाच्या संदर्भामध्ये. त्यानंतर फिजिओग्राफिक प्रोफाईल पर्यंत त्या ठिकाणी आलो होतो की फिजिओग्राफी ही आपल्याला मॅपवरून अंडरस्टँडिंग कशा पद्धतीने होते. मग सुरुवातीला मी जसं तुम्हाला सांगितलं की रिसर्चमध्ये फक्त आपण या 3 पद्धतीने गेलो तरी आपण खूप चांगला रिसर्च त्या ठिकाणी करू शकतो. म्हणजे मी माझा अनुभव तुम्हाला सांगतोय. मी 3 नोटबुक स्वतंत्र केल्या होत्या. पहिल्या नोटबुकमध्ये फक्त टेबल होते. दुसऱ्या नोटबुकमध्ये किंवा त्या कम्प्युटरच्या फाईलमध्ये फक्त ग्राफ आणि फिगर होत्या, मॅप होते. आणि तिसऱ्या फाईलमध्ये फक्त इंटरप्रिटेशन होतं. म्हणजे 1 नंबर टेबल, त्याचा 1 नंबर ग्राफ आणि 1 नंबर इंटरप्रिटेशन. या पद्धतीने जरी तुम्ही गेलात तरी तुमचं रिसर्च वर्क हे खूप चांगल्या पद्धतीने आणि खूप चांगलं फास्ट हे त्या ठिकाणी तयार होऊ शकतं. नुसतं आता हे मॅप जरी आपण तयार केले तरी याचं इंटरप्रिटेशन आपल्याला, आपण स्टडी एरियाचं इंटरप्रिटेशन आपल्याला लिहिता येऊ शकतं. की त्याचा जर बघितलं तर नॉर्थ ईस्ट एरियामध्ये हिली एरिया आहे, किंवा साऊथ किंवा वेस्ट जो पार्ट आहे तिथे प्लेन एरिया आहे. अशा प्रकारचे ऑब्झर्वेशन्स हे आपण त्या ठिकाणी सांगू शकतो किंवा आपण त्या ठिकाणी फॉर्म्युलेट करू शकतो. सो इट इज सीन अबाउट दी कंटूर मॅप. यू कॅन जनरेटिंग अबाउट द कंटूर मॅप. मग तुम्ही कंटूर मॅपही त्या ठिकाणी या डेटा सेटवरून तुम्ही त्या ठिकाणी तयार करू शकता. आणि हा कंटूर इलिव्हेशन डेटा मी मग तुम्हाला म्हटलं तसं एक्सेल फॉर्मॅटमध्ये जर तुम्ही ठेवलात तर त्याचा तुम्हाला यूज हा स्लोप अस्पेक्ट मॅप, त्यानंतर त्याचं इलिव्हेशन मॉडेल हे त्या ठिकाणी तयार करण्याचं होऊ शकतं. ड्रेनेज मॅप, याच्यामधून तुम्हाला तुमच्या ड्रेनेज किंवा स्लोप हाही द्या आपला स्टडी एरियाचा त्या ठिकाणी तुम्हाला समजू शकतो की स्लोप हा कशा प्रकारे आहे, कारण रिव्हर कशा फ्लो होत आहेत त्यावर तुम्हाला तो स्लोप हा कसा आहे समजतं. आणि त्याच्यावरती तुम्ही तुमच्या इलिव्हेशन डेटावरती ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही तुमच्या रिव्हर त्या ठिकाणी सुपर इम्पोज करता त्यावेळेस आपल्याला ऍक्च्युअल त्याचा फ्लो कशा पद्धतीने आहे त्याचा हे आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी कळू शकतं, किंवा कोणकोणत्या मेन रिव्हर्स आहेत हे आपल्याला अंडरस्टँड होऊ शकतं. मग मेन स्ट्रीम कोणत्या, सबस्ट्रीम्स कोणत्या, यावरून आपण त्याचं अनालिसिस करू शकतो. हा,
आमचे एक मित्र आहे सायन राय म्हणून, त्यांना मराठी नाही कळत, प्लीज इंग्लिश मध्ये सांगितलं तर बरं, कारण त्यांनी हँड रेस पण केला आणि मेसेजही टाकलाय तुम्हाला.
सॉरी, बघितलं नाही, त्यामुळेच मी ऍक्च्युली मला ढवळे सरांनी ऍक्च्युली सांगितलं होतं, पण सॉरी. So this is to representing about a map with the help of some aspect, with the help of software and the data to representing about the which is the area, it is a catchment area by the river or to study area aspect. So this is to formulating about the Excel sheet and with the help of different softwares to generating about this map. So it is a population growth and the density map in our study area or your small approach. So you can generating about this map with the help of very easy or the simple technique with the help of QGIS software to representing about this data, to understanding about this aspect, to which is the high growth of the population or the decreasing growth of the population, to representing by the formulation of the densitycal the population growth and the density your study area. After all, to generating about this map, in this map you can see about the aspect. So the we have discussed about the actually graphical and the cartographical view or the cartographical understanding about this map. So the literacy, so you can see about the literacy, the urban literacy and the rural literacy. You can see about this two way to the formulating about the total literacy. GIS is a use is a tool to representing your data with the help of cartographical aspect or to making a map. But your role is very important, not just creating a pretty or nice or to colorful map, but the meaningful map. Okay, not creating or creating the colorful map is the meaningful map. Your role is very important to the preparing to meaningful map, because the software have been generating about the map, which is the data you have providing such type of this data. But in this aspect data to the various kind of the sources, to the different views, to graphical representation and the cartographical or to making a map with the help of different type of the softwares, to generating of the view, to formulating by this aspect. Now in this view, to representing about the aspect, so this is the village wise map for our study area. Why we have studied about the village wise map? Because at the time of field work or at the time of fill up the questionnaires or the primary data, at that time you use about the village wise map or to collecting about the samples for your use. This is a cadastral map to representing about the various villages or number of villages to representing in the data sources. Now it will be representing about this data. So lastly, we have discussed about the collection of the data, actual field work. So these are the 6 region, and this 6 region to collecting of the samples of this data to the actual field work or to fill up the questionnaires, that is 10% the total population in this village. So at that time you prepare by these maps with the help of this data to preparing or to understanding about the field work or your research design. So it will be formulating by this aspect to coefficient index by the social amenities. Now you see I have representing or to small approach. At the time of this approach, you may to preparing your research the table, graph and interpretation. These 3 way to representing about this aspect, the 6 groups. In these groups you have collect or to select about the 2 or 3 villages and to collect the samples, the 10% questionnaires, fill up the 10% questionnaires in the study area as ratio by the household or to preparing about the household. With the help of this data set, we representing about the low potential region, the medium potential region and the high potential region. So the low potential region is sufficiently region, those index below 2.9. The medium potential region, it is a expected region, and the high potential region is the underdeveloped region. So at that time we representing about this data, the literacy, the density, the population growth, social amenities, all of the amenities and the formulating about the different view, that is the sex ratio and the aspect in the view of the geographical condition or the geographical situation or the impact of geographical situation in the cultural aspect or in the society or the human being. So these parameter you explain to representing for your study area or your study area map. So representing of the coefficient index by representing by the data set. After all, you can suggest or to suggestions by the different view or the kind of the sources, the conclusions, the which is the area is developed, which is the non area is developed or the underdeveloped or developing area. Okay, so why it is a developing area or why it is not developing of the area or the understanding by these different aspect. Okay, so the future scope. So your role is very important, your work is very important. What is the future scope? Your research. Okay, because the future scope is a new light or new direction to development of this village or development of the rural aspect or the rural view at that time. So which is the area can be responsible to the formulating in your research or to representing by this study area or the study aspect. Now it will be representing by this aspect to the different aspect or the which is the action program it should be implemented for your study area or which is the plan is responsible or which is the plan how to formulating or to describing your area. Now it will be representing by the different type the references, which references can be used about the some study area or the I was presenting my small approach. I use about this small view or the references or the websites. Okay, so I think the Bhuvan is a very important and recent day is a very useful website, the NRSC. Actually, most of the data you have download about the Bhuvan website. Okay, NRSC. Now it will be representing of this data, and finally you can representing by this aspect to the data set. So thank you very much. I have representing about the my small approach with the help of some different sources or data sources in the view of scientific way of the research or different aspect to preparing by the some theoretically or some practically work for our research. Okay, thank you very much. Actually I have not done for the some big research or some big ideas, but according to my knowledge or according to my work I have done for this work or preparing my the points. So thank you very much the Department of Geography, Sir Parshuram Bhau College, Pune, my best friend, Dr. Dhole sir, Devne sir, the head of the department, Dr. Gaikwad sir. ऍक्च्युली मी म्हणजे थोडक्यात सांगतो की मी जीआयएस किंवा रिमोट सेन्सिंग हे गायकवाड सरांमुळे खूप जास्त शिकलो आणि त्यांच्यामुळेच मी हैदराबादला सुद्धा गायकवाड सरांमुळे हैदराबादच्या जे काही 4 महिन्याचं ट्रेनिंग होतं त्यासाठी मी गायकवाड सरांनी मला त्यावेळेस सांगितल्यामुळे मी त्या ठिकाणी गेलो आणि खऱ्या अर्थाने माझा जीआयएस रिमोट सेन्सिंगचा प्रवास हा गायकवाड सरांमुळे सुरू झालेला आहे. ओके, थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please ask.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I am doing research on settlement geography in my
Yes.
area. So I am asking that, sir, in the French regions or in the city regions, how to delimit or how to determine the land rate?
Okay, actually, see, you can find out of the city area in
City
in the
area. Yes.
in the my view. First of all, you collect by the data your municipal corporation office or the city survey department, and after all, you can use about the some ward-wise map. I think in 2011 census, the ward-wise map is available in the online, or the election commission website. The ward-wise map is available by the this website. So this is useful for your city area, or to actual find out to demarcation about the boundaries to the study area, your study area, sir.
No, 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 sir. Actually, I'm asking land rent, not the boundaries.
What is, sir, please?
Land value or land rent.
Land rent or the land value.
Yeah, at the city region as well as in the fringes, means in the rural regions, which will be merging with the cities in near future.
Okay, sir. Actually, it's a land value. It means that is to commercial land or the some of this land in this
Any,
view.
any kind of lands, sir. Agricultural lands, commercial lands.
Okay, actually, this land, it means you can see about this land or the commercial land. Actual, this data is a to representing about the actual field work. I think in the my view or the my approach, or the another way, the city survey department, I think I have collect by this data. You see, you asking about this data, the commercial land or the agriculture land. So the city survey department in the municipal corporation aspect. So you can collect this report, which is the land is commercial, or which is the land is agricultural, or which is the land is the residential. Okay, so the city survey department in the municipal corporation is available by the year-wise report in this land use land cover aspect or the views about these things.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
सर मला वाटतं एक रेडी रेकनर पण असतो.
हा सर, रेडी रेकनर पण असतो. बरोबर आहे सर. हो, सॉरी, माझ्याकडून राहिला तो सांगायचं खरं.
सयान रॉय, देर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज रेडी रेकनर.
Yes.
And those are government rates.
Yes.
Those are not the actual rates as such, but a minimum level of rate that is decided in a particular area by the government. So you can use that as well, I think so.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Demesh,
Yeah,
sir. Thank you.
Yes. एकच मिनिट. If there are no more questions, can we go up for the formal vote of thanks?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, all. I Keshav Jadhav here for vote of thanks to Dr. Pandit. From which comes
Sir, namaskar.
discuss
Usmade sir, namaskar.
very wonderful and informative lectures on the topic fundamentals of research design and fieldwork in population and settlement geography.
Usmade sir, ऐकू येतंय?
Sir,
Sorry.
sir have completed all topics how research framework or do in scientific way. Sir cover all topics such as selection of research problem, aims, objectives, survey literature, formation of hypothesis, data collection, sources, analysis, and conclusion. How NRSP data from collect from Bone portal. All these things are useful to us. All information which is helpful for our further research progress. So thank you, sir. I also thanks to SB College in charge principal Dr. Savita Datar Madam, Head Department of Geography, HOD Dr. Gaikwad sir, course coordinator Dr. Devne sir, and joint coordinator Dr. Dhole sir. I thanks to everyone for conduct this coursework for us. I also thanks to all research fellow for patiently listening. Thanks again to all. Thank you very much. And thanks again,
Thank
sir.
you, sir, and thank you, sir. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.